How many of the Best Picture nominees in the past 10 years have passed the DuVernay test? What is the DuVernay test? This was coined by New York Times film critic Manohla Dargis, and the whole point was following the movement, the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite, also in reaction to the powerful Sundance Festival hit, The Birth of a Nation. So what is the criteria? Okay, the criteria of this test, number one, have two named characters of color. Number two, the characters must speak to each other. And finally, number three, they must not act as scenery in the lives of white people. And this isn't, again, measuring whether or not the film is good, bad, revolutionary, just as long they want to see how having people of color in the film pushes the narrative of the film. That's the whole point of the DuVernay test. Now, 78 films in the last 10 years of these Best Picture nominees have occurred. 78. So we're going to go ahead and look at it after 5 words and see how many actually passed the DuVernay test. But first thoughts, 5 words or less.
2010 was super white.
I see a pattern here.
White Chicks passes this test.
Can't edit this out, Hollywood. Okay, so let's look back at it, shall we?
Some of the years were rough. I don't know about you guys reading it. I couldn't believe 2010. I was reading them out, and
Who was it?
It was like The King's Speech,
Yeah.
Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
True Grit,
Well, that
Winter's
was
Bone,
Teddy Bear,
Black
like, kind of
Swan,
pink.
Black
Teddy
The
Bear was a little
Social
pink.
Network, Inception, The Fighter.
That is a white year.
No
Like,
passing
that is-
films because you brought out
That's all I got.
you brought up 2010. Yeah, there was 10 nominees, but no passing films in 2010.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We'll start with 2006. So 2006, there was 5 nominees, 2 passing films. Okay, and then in 2007, 5 nominees, no passing films. So that was No Country for Old Men, Atonement, Juno, There Will Be Blood.
There's even a vanilla milkshake that he drank.
In 2008, 5 nominees, 1 passing film. So Slumdog Millionaire, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Frost Nixon, Milk, The Reader.
Slumdog won, though.
They did. They were
It
the
was-
winner.
So that
It
takes
won.
care of all of it.
So
Yeah.
that cures most of race
So
problems
racism
in
at the
Hollywood, I
Oscars
think.
over. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
home.
I gotta go eat an omelet.
2009, this is when we saw it was now 10 nominees, 1 passing film. And then we have, we'll just go through it. So we talked about 2010, 2011, 9 nominees, 1 passing film. The passing film, let's see, so we have The Artist, The Descendants, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, The Help.
The Help.
The Help.
I remember, yeah.
And then we have 2013, 9 nominees, 2 passing films. The Winner, 12 Years a Slave. American Hustle, Captain Phillips was the other one. Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, and The Wolf of Wall Street. 2014, 8 Best Picture nominees, 1 passing film. And that must have gone to, let's see, we have American Sniper, Boyhood, Birdman, Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. 2015, 8 nominees, no passing films. The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad Max, Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Room, Spotlight. So we've talked about this. You haven't been here, JR, but we've talked about, obviously, you know, the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite and just the lack of diversity within Hollywood. And even though they're the Academy is taking steps to make changes, it's much deeper than that. There's so many layers. They're kind of at the top of the game. You know, they're like it's like a trickle down effect.
Right.
And then the award, you got to start with the writers. You got to start with diversifying the producers, the roles, and then it will be reflected when those awards are given out.
Anybody who sees what they need to see for the film to be successful. So, I mean, I understand the criticisms that of people that are on the other side of the original criticism of Oscars So White, and be like, well, what do you want us to do? We're just making films, right? If it doesn't happen that way, it doesn't. If it does, it does. But the thing is, it's not like it's not supposed to be a fake, I guess, equalization of everything.
Right.
Honestly, everyone profits, honestly, from this type of thing. It's not like everyone's looking for handouts to say, hey, you know what? Give bad films or people who had bad performances chances. No, give anyone a chance to see if something like that can happen. Now, what I've noticed in some of these films, because everyone kind of benefits from it. I mean, I may connect to sports in a second. In the NFL, they made a rule where they have to interview a certain number of black head coaches before they hire, if their new team is hiring. Now, people, when it first happened, were thinking, oh, what is this? You know, if the guy's good for the job, he's good for the job, but people don't get the chance. So they didn't say you have to give it to him.
Right. They're like, oh, I have to shake his hand, i.e. touch him.
Right. So we have these perceptions and then so from that point it trickles down to, as you said, the perception of society. But
so
everyone benefits
systemic.
from it. So when you learn about different actors, different people from different cultures and backgrounds, you're a better person. You actually might enjoy what they bring to the table instead of seeing the same thing over and over again in different formats, or when you want something different, you want an ethnic movie, then you have to bring in a white person to play who they are not or who they have no connection to. It's your authenticity drops. And don't you want your film to be better?
Yes.
It's not even just about giving to anyone
It's like what Viola Davis said when she won the Emmy for How to Get Away with Murder, is that you can't win Emmys for roles that are simply not there. And I think that's really what we're seeing in the Oscars So White hashtag, is that no one is saying that you need to hand out awards to people that do not deserve it. But the fact that these people aren't, that we're not seeing people of color even get into the room, and we're not seeing people of color represented in the Academy, or they're not in, they're not in the casting rooms, they're not the producers. Like, that's the problem.
Right, because there's
it's just the opportunity that we're seeing, and that's the problem.
It's such a disproportionate amount of roles and directors and writers that, of course, when it's going to come to an award show, there's going to be this many roles that are played by white people, or written by white people, or directed by white people in comparison to people of color, because there's not an even playing field to begin with.
You say that's the problem. The problem is the situation right now. And the sad thing is there's a lot that contributes to why it is. So to go about just trying to find like that one thing we can change, do that like 15 times.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing, like at the beginning, like some people just sit down and write their scripts and just are like, I guess, I just wrote this character. And don't stop to think, like, what does this have to be, like a white person?
Right.
Why? What are the thoughts going into that? And are they just assumptions you never questioned? The other issue is, what I love is the pressure of, like, Oscar So White. Like, I love that because Hollywood still has a lot of trappings of, like, a, high school cafeteria where you're trying to do stuff that the cool kids want you to do. As much as we think that all of Hollywood is the cool kids, this is a great extra, part of the approach in making it Oscars less white, or Oscars so representative of America, that does factor in. And yes, it is peer pressure, but in this situation, I think the peer pressure is really good.
I didn't realize this. There's the season for casting. A little bit after the Oscars come out, and you have all these guys. They have their clout is up, and your stock is rising. And then in general, most to all actors have that season when you're getting roles. Black actors, that season comes in April or May, 2 months after, because that's when those roles start to get
Really?
filled. So all these black actors, huge names, sit back and go, oh yeah, April, May is when I go to my casting.
As the other roles are being handed out to the
as like
top
the filler
tier.
roles, you mean? So it's like the lead. So the leads for the big pictures happen right after the Oscars. They see who's won, and then it's the people of color after are like, okay, I'll wait for my name to be called for like guy.
For that other dude.
Yeah,
because
for the other.
Or if somebody
Like
passed.
I've got to add a black friend.
Or if somebody passed. And also, we talked about on the previous episode, just, bringing up the Academy too, and the pressure from that hashtag, the Academy, they made a number of announcements saying that they are going to diversify their 6,000 plus members that are mostly white men, right? And that they're taking steps to, instead of them being lifetime members, that's not going to take place so much anymore.
Director Sam Wiseman wrote he is one of the old white men in the Academy. He wrote an op-ed for Variety about his perspective on it. And he's like, here additionally, and some of it, you might agree with or disagree with, but he's like, I'd love to vote for these things, but I don't vote for those things. Like, I that's not a category I vote, like, I am allowed to chime in on. Like, there is a lot of institutional problems. Don't be mad at me because I'm here. I would also love to find new ways to make it more inclusive. So I think just keeping your eyes open to all that.
And I'm sorry, and the last win.
Yes,
on
please.
It, I think.
Final
also,
thought.
Another win on it. The amount of money that Black Americans spend on things like movies and merchandise is astronomical. Again, go back to your selfish point of view. I want to make so much money. Make black films. Make films with black folks in them. Yeah. Black folks come out and watch that stuff, and they spend all of their money on it. So again, even if you just want to be selfish,
do it for the money, Hollywood.
Yes, I know.
It's amazing.
Don't do it because it's right. Do it for the money.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, another good conversation now. So you guys, please keep the conversation going in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, make sure you check us out on watchable.com.